Well, we can go through this as quickly as you want, or it can take like 8 hours literally, but usually it's pretty quick with a small group like this. So I want you to calibrate your mind. This is designed to be an open forum discussion. It's not designed to be a lecture. If it turns into a lecture, then I failed miserably, right? Okay, so let's just do some introductions. I'm gonna have you do 3 different things. So who you are, where are you from, and how many kids were in your family growing up, okay? So my name's James Finnegan. I'm originally from Montana, of all places, Anaconda, Montana, and I have 3 sisters and no brothers. So,
where at Montana?
Anaconda.
Anaconda, where is that?
It's a copper town. It's on the southwestern side of Montana.
Okay.
So it's really a small town, like by
Missoula.
Yes,
Okay.
by Missoula. So, okay, boss.
My name is Mike Berta. I'm also from Montana. I was born and raised in Red Lodge, Montana. And I have 2 siblings, 2 sisters, 2 half-sisters.
Pretty big family.
Yeah.
My name is Cliff Ball, originally from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm the younger of 2. My brother, I have an older brother. That's it. In the family, but we had an older cousin also live with us. I consider him a brother as well, as his parents had some issues growing up in the 70s. So. And the Las Vegas lifestyle.
Yeah, that's not a combination, right?
Yeah, he's a really good guy. He's basically a brother of mine. And what was the third part?
Yeah, that was it. So where you grew up, you said that, and
how
the
many
kids are in your
siblings?
family, so that was perfect.
My name is Jamie Guevara. I'm from Bothell, Washington, and I have a little brother. Of course, not that little. He's bigger than me, but younger brother. Younger. Yeah.
My name is Chelsea Jeffries. I was born and raised here, and I have 1 older sister and 1 older brother.
Cool.
Michelle Pizzata. I'm originally from New York, and I have an older brother and an older sister.
Cool. Okay, so I'm going to reveal to you why we do that a little bit later, but it's really just to kind of get to know everybody. Because we're going to be doing role plays and stuff, it's harder in here to do these role plays in front of one another than it is on your own. It really is. And I'm going to tell you things that you're doing unsuccessfully, and you're going to try these things, and it's going to feel super awkward. How many of you have ever golfed before? Oh, everybody has. This is great. Okay, so I played baseball in high school and basketball and soccer. Those are my sports. And so as you get older, it's like, okay, I'm going to try golf. So here's how I would golf. I would step into it, and everybody would laugh, like, why are you stepping into it? Well, that's what I learned in baseball. So to transform that into golf, my ball would slice. It would go like 200 yards this way and that way. And so I would just turn my body farther over that way, and it was really bad. So I went and took a lesson, and the guy's like, you have to have, your feet shoulder width apart. You're just shifting your weight. You got to keep your left arm straight the whole time, and it was so awkward. And so I started doing that, and do you think my score got better or worse?
Worse.
Got worse. So I'm like, forget this stuff. I'm going back to what I was doing before. And I got worse. I started hitting houses. Now I was going a 300-yard slice. And so I was so confused. Like, I'm going to quit this thing. These old guys are better than I am, and I like sports. So I went back, and I started doing the basics. And I started just really becoming, it became much easier and just more relaxed, and the ball started going straighter. This is going to feel just like that first lesson I had. It's going to feel like very uncomfortable to you, and you're going to go, this is just so dumb. Why am I doing this? And then you'll see people going, oh yeah, I feel more comfortable here. It just was an easier decision. So in Scottsdale, off of Princess and the 101, I had a clinic, and there were 20 clinics in about a 2-block radius that were competitors. And so we had to dial in everything that we did because there was so much competition. And I would walk into the clinic and I would say, just out of curiosity, why did you choose our group? And they would say, it was just easier to schedule, you guys were more kind, I just felt better around you. Well, I'm going to share with you the psychology behind what made that happen, because so much of what we do every day is based off of psychology. And hopefully there is no Jedi Knight tricks. We're not trying to trick anybody, but we're trying to be educationally based, we're trying to really be optional based, and we're going to go into that really quickly. So this is kind of an introduction into the fun sculpting brand, but it's going to impact the whole practice. Everything we do in here should be utilizing these techniques. So today we're just going to cover answering phones, consultations, building a relationship of trust. Some of you are going to laugh because when I'm teaching these lessons, you're going to go, I already do that. And others are going to go, I don't want to do that. But as you start doing it in your personal life, and a lot of it transmits into so many facets of our life, you'll feel more in control of your life. So that's kind of our goal today. So any questions, just feel free to stop me. And so we're going to go through a lot of this. So as with any business, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. We pretty much know where our numbers need to be with our branding and fun sculpting and body sculpting. Now, on your business side, it's important everybody knows, hey, this is our goal. It could be a number of patients we see. It could be a myriad of different indicators. It could be a dollar amount, but it's really important. So I'm just going to put Jamie on the spot. What's our goal first month for sales? Let's see if she was listening 2 days ago.
6 patients.
Okay, so she knew right out of the gates. It was 6 patients. That's our goal for our first month. Now it steps up very quickly with this brand, but it should be no different on your business side where those numbers are. If someone knows what the target is, then they have a chance of hitting it. If they have no clue what the target is, it doesn't drive behavior. It's almost impossible. So if I were to sit down and I were to visit with each one of you and I were to say, what are you the most frustrated with in your life? You'd be as shocked, but most of the time, 99% of the time, it's unrealistic expectations or expectations that aren't being met. It could be in a relationship, it could be at work, it could be anywhere, but that's where anger comes from. And the opposite of being positive is being negative, and that comes from expectations not being met. So I always like to say, let's make sure our expectations are in alignment, and then we can diffuse some of the anger and frustration that happens in life. And that can be in any facet of our lives, right? So if we expect, I'll just pick on the women in the room, if we expect our significant others to open the door for us, and they don't, there's 2 types of expectations that are spoken and expectations that are unspoken. If it's a spoken, hey, I just would really appreciate it if you opened my door for me, or whatever you want to say, that's an expectation, you vocalized it. If you don't vocalize it, and someone doesn't open the door, and you just shut them down, like instantly shut off, you're looking for them to change their behavior. Even though most people are like, why is she upset with me? I don't get it. Why, what's going on? I tend to believe that spoken expectations are more effective than non-spoken, because then it becomes a passive-aggressive thing. So you'll notice with our group, we're very direct. We like to be very clear. We over-communicate, because then it alleviates a lot of that frustration. But if there's frustration as well, we'd like for you to tell us, hey, this is what's going on. Can we improve this process or this process? But starting off, we have to be able to focus on the goal. Now, we're all absorbed in building this business. So when Jamie goes out and she's building a relationship with athletic clubs, she's going to be talking about all the services that are offered here. She's going to be focusing on the fun sculpting brand and make sure people really understand, because it's the #1 device all throughout Europe and Asia. But we are definitely committed, and we really understand why. So the key team players, just when I walked into the office, there was great energy. Those are things that are huge. And key team players, they'll make or break your ambition. So let me give an example. I asked one of my office staff members to go do mystery shopping. Have any of you ever done mystery shopping?
I've watched shows about it,
Yeah.
but I've never done it.
Okay, it's important to do, just so you know that you guys are really good at what you're doing. And you just walk into a facility that's similar and just say, hey, tell me about your services. Well, my office manager went into one of the clinics in Scottsdale, and we just did laser hair removal, photofacial, Botox, and those types of things. And I don't own those clinics anymore. But she walked in, and the person behind the desk said, and she's like, oh, really? Oh, okay. And she's like, oh, but here's some information. And she came in my office. She's like, James, you would not believe it. She derailed this. I'm sure she was losing about 1 out of every 3 patients just by saying that. I'm not sure what happened in the office, but that doctor had no idea that this person was undermining it. So those key team players, they will make or break all of your ambitions, right? It's really important you understand that the office staff is an expression of yourself. Here's something that's unique. When we treat our staff members as peers, it's totally different. So in an environment like this, in regular medicine, you can say, hand me those hemostats, give me that, get me that. And office staff usually jump pretty quick. When you're in an aesthetic arena, just the tone of the voice can change how that person feels. You know, like if I said, hey Mike, would you please hand me those hemostats? People feel like, oh, he's loving, he's kind, or she is, oh, really respectful, and they feel, you know, calm. All of those things really make a difference in today's day and age, because they're interviewing the receptionist, they're interviewing the doctor, they're interviewing supporting staff, and then they're like, do I feel good about this decision? Okay, I feel good about it, I'll move forward with it. So it's really important that we understand, if we're having a bad day, this is what I would tell all my office staff members. If something really bad happened, maybe you crashed your car, had a fender bender, I'm super sorry. Like, I am so sad that happened to you. But when you come to the office, this is your safe haven from all the negative garbage you're going through. And people are excited about all the services. I mean, you think about the full wellness and everything that's happening here, people come in and they're excited, right? So we want to capture that excitement, but we don't want to be the Debbie Downer, right? So sometimes we become the counselors for those individuals coming in. Excuse me. Thank you. Sometimes we're the counselors, and that's okay, but we want to keep it in that room, right? When we come out, we're positive and we're upbeat as much as possible. So the one thing I'm going to encourage you to do, and Jamie, just so you know, this is going to be happening with our team, we want to keep up morale. And what we mean by that is we have monthly staff meetings, and it could just be a luncheon once a month. And that's kind of where our accountability piece is, where we say, okay, our goal was 6. Where did we hit? It might be higher than 6. It might be 10, 12. Each month it steps up. It staggers from 6 to 12 to 15, and it just keeps going up. But we don't necessarily even go into the next month until this month is over, right? Because it's just more stress. But we'll say something like this at the end of the meeting. So what can we do better? Now this is a chance for you to say, I don't like this, or I did like this. You're not going to get fired. You're not going to get punished. There are a lot of things we do that are inefficient. When you run your own business, you're doing the best you can with what you see. And you might have a phenomenal idea that you're like, I just don't want to offend the owner. I just don't want him to get upset with me. Well, some of the best information I've ever received were from these monthly meetings. So there's only 12 a year, and each time you learn a little bit more about what you can do better. And sometimes the process is what it is, and we've tweaked it, and there's nothing more we can do. It's just part of the business. It's not that much fun, like paperwork, or backing up in rooms, or some patients take longer, or some things are out of your control. But these are really important, and it's a great opportunity for the staff to say, okay, this is what I think we should do. Now, the one thing these monthly meetings are for is not to say, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, and have no solutions, right? So I always tell everybody, if you have a problem, not a problem to express it, just come with a solution. It could be, something really easy and simple. So let's try to do that. So in our offices, we hire the right attitude, and then we train people in skills. We've talked real briefly about this. But one of my favorite statements is when someone says to me, I'm not in sales. We sell ourselves every day by what we wear, how we look, how we present, what we do every single day. So there's educational based sales, and then there's gimmicky sales. Like, well, what can I do to get you to buy this package today? That's not us. We don't ever want to be perceived as used car salesy tactics, right? And so we're going to talk about how to do that today. It'll become such a natural part of you that you'll go, why haven't we ever had this kind of training before? Because when it's a natural thing and in your mind you're like, oh, I just need to say this, it's super easy, and then the clients like you more. It's really kind of interesting how that works. So that's just to calibrate your mind's eyes before we jump right into the segment. Any questions or comments before we get started? Awesome. Are we going to see Noelle today?
Yeah, she should be here shortly.
Okay, cool.
Just have to make a couple stops.
There's an appointment that I'm coming to
Yeah, absolutely. There's one right there.
Yeah, just if it rings.
Yeah, just grab it and stuff.
Is the time yoga massage business?
Not a problem.
Okay. You're from Vegas, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to play a little bit of a game. And the thing that I like about this game is you get to play it out loud in front of everybody. So, so I want you to imagine we're sitting in Vegas right now, and I'm going to have you hold it. Don't let anyone see that. I want you to imagine we're playing a card game in Vegas, and I have 4 cards in my hands. I have an ace, a 2, a 3, and a 4. I want you to pick any 2 of those cards and tell it to the audience. Any 2. So out of ace, 2, 3, and 4, pick 2 of those and tell them to us.
Just two
Any
cards.
2. Any
4
2.
and 2.
Okay, that leaves you with ace and 3. Out of ace and 3, pick one.
Okay.
And tell it to us.
Oh, ace.
Okay, so you picked ace. Out of the 4 suits, hearts, diamonds, spades, and clubs, pick 2 of those and tell them to us.
Spades and diamonds.
Okay, that leaves you with ace and hearts. Out of ace and hearts, pick one.
Hearts.
Okay, so we're looking for the ace of hearts. Okay, so do you have any idea how I did that?
No. You should be. Chris Angel.
I can really get you guys to do anything. That I want,
Carbonaro
trust me.
effect.
No,
Yeah. He's funny, man. He's
I know.
pretty good.
Okay, so now I'm gonna give this to Dr. Ball. He's gonna hold this for me, but I'm gonna let him look at this as well. Jamie, I'm gonna pick on you. We're gonna do the same thing. So out of the 4 cards, ace, 2, 3, and 4, pick 2 of those and tell them to us.
2 and 3.
Okay, out of 2 and 3, pick one.
2.
Okay, that leaves you with 3. Out of the 4 suits, hearts, diamonds, spades, and clubs, pick 2 of those and tell them to us.
Diamonds and clubs.
Out of diamonds and clubs, pick one.
Diamonds.
Okay, so we're looking for the 3 of diamonds. Okay, now he heard what I was saying, but you guys didn't know, right? It's hard to tell. So I'm going to go through this really quick and I'm going to explain it to you. This is actually using your subconscious mind to overrule whatever I want you to believe. So let's just pretend like I pick a card like, let's do 2 of hearts. Don't ever put a picture with me, you'll die. Okay, so if someone, let's say out of ace, 2, 3, and 4, let's pretend like someone picks 3 and 4. I use a bridgeable word that your subconscious mind doesn't even think about, and it's called that leaves you with. And so when I say that, that leaves you with ace and 2. Out of those 2, pick one. Your mind thinks, I did eliminate those 2. Now in the beginning, you really wanted that 3 or 4. You're like, I want the 3. But I say, okay, that leaves you with ace and 2. Out of ace and 2, pick one. You have a 50-50 chance you're gonna pick that card. But let's say you pick the ace. I just say that leaves you with 2. Out of 4 suits, hearts, diamond. So this is a bridgeable word that leaves you with. We're gonna talk about how important options are in life, how critical it is to your success. For example, if I'm a telemarketer and I call up and I say, hey, I want to talk to you about this great offer, you're going to hang up on me. If I call your home and I say, would you rather go to Maui or would you rather go to New Zealand on a vacation? Which one would you prefer? You're in trouble. Because I've just asked you something that's going to make you think, why is he asking me this? I must be able to win it, right? Everything we do either pulls someone towards us or repels them against us. And you don't realize this, but this happens in real time every single day. And so we're going to talk about why this is so important and why it pertains to phone skill sets, because it's really critical in answering phones. Okay, so jumping right into it. So this blue line really makes up how much of our business is impacted by the phones. So if the answer is 98%, sometimes we place our least trained, our least focused on individual on the phones, thinking it's not that big of a deal. It's a huge deal, right? Drop-ins usually make up about 1.5%, male 0.25, and others 0.25. And this really just talks about, even if you did like a Google AdWords, they're going to call the office first to talk to somebody, to schedule an appointment. And you can derail that fairly quickly and fairly easily. So I can take someone that's answering the phones, I can improve the efficiency in that office by 30 to 40% with these skill sets. And that's just starting off. That's not even fine-tuning it, but we're going to talk about that a little bit more. So all of these professionals, the one thing that they have in common is they have a coach. So all of you guys are doing things really good or you wouldn't even be in this meeting. We're just taking you from good to great. We're not doing the Marine style, we're going to break you down and build you back up. We're just taking you from good to great. So think about this. Okay, you guys already have dedicated phone lines, right? You will as well, Jamie, for this business as well. Specific phone scripts, it's going to be new to you. It doesn't mean that Mike's going to use the same script that I'm going to use. It's going to be based off of what you feel, and we'll talk about how important that is as well. And then we'll go through training. So knowledge is power. If you talk to someone that really is educated on the services that are offered, it's much easier to sell than, oh, well, here's a brochure, look at this. I went in to buy a car stereo, and they basically said, "Well, just go online and Google." I'm like, so why do you even sell it? I'll just go online through Amazon and buy it if I'm going to do my own research and everything. People don't really have as much knowledge as they used to have. We want to be the experts in the industry. So answering phones breaks down into 4 C's: being calm, courteous, confident, and charismatic. So AT&T did something interesting. They used to be number 2. Verizon used to be number 1. AT&T, they took, the CEO said, I want each one of you to place these little $2 mirrors on your computer monitor, and I want you to smile when you answer the phone. And everybody's like, this is so dumb. You know, instead of thank you for calling AT&T, people can hear that energy, or thank you for calling AT&T, it's a different energy. This CEO knew what energy was all about. All of a sudden, their sales started to go up. The VPs are going, how could this have made that big of a difference? If you feel charismatic, if you feel happy about the business you're in, people are going to really perceive that. Being calm is important as well. Now, as strange as this is, when someone calls in the office, if they hear laughing in the background, they think it's about them. Same thing happens when they come in for consults. So it's really important to make sure that the office stays at a certain level. Or you say, oh, the girls in the back office are laughing about some joke about, you know, something they did this weekend. But anyhow, just so that they know what's going on, right? Being courteous, we're going to talk about scheduling. How you guys are in charge of the schedule, not saying, you want to go ahead and get that?
Yeah, sorry.
We're going to listen to you, by the way. No, I'm just
Make sure you smile.
Reflection medical
That's great.
Funny.
She's like, I'm not gonna listen to you guys.
She's on stage
No,
now.
I've actually gone in the office. Can I make a message for them?
That's good.
I don't know if Julie, we should just say
So what do you think so far? Not too boring, right?
No, it's awesome.
No, it's great training.
Good.
Yeah. Are we gonna meet today? Are we gonna meet today?
We can meet and we can go to lunch, whatever your schedule's like.
Okay.
I didn't want to encumber anybody on a specific schedule because I didn't know.
Okay.
I really wanted to make sure we have phones and consoles down because that's the pivot point of this whole business.
Okay.
You know?
Perfect.
Yeah, no, I was just talking to my guy from Catalyst, who's the Regenerative Medicine Network, and we talked during that meeting or that conference I had last month.
Right.
He's basically just like, I've got some templates, educate your front desk, and sort
Right.
of thing. And I'm like, yeah, because she's new, she doesn't know a lot of these things, but people are constantly calling, and they want to know basic questions and then pricing. And so we need to get a template for her on that, so she can understand how to relay that information and improve our acceptance rate.
Exactly. So I should ask you this: how long have you guys been with Dr. Ball?
Like, I'm on my 3rd week.
Okay.
3rd or 4th.
Okay, so this is actually a perfect time
Definitely.
because everybody's new.
We're all multiple.
That's
Yeah.
right. I love this.
We
This is
clean
good.
house. I kind of vented to Mike, but I was like, we're cleaning house. we actually got a really good group. We're excited to have both of you guys here. So definitely.
Awesome. Because the benefit of this is you don't get started on the wrong foot where you've had a year or 6 months where you're doing it your own way, kind of winging it. Everybody in this room should understand by the time we leave of what exactly we're supposed to do. Now, it doesn't mean you're not going to fall down, and you will. That's totally normal. But my assistant named Diane will call in and she'll do mystery shopping, but she will say at the end of the call, by the way, this is James' assistant, Diane. You did great here and here. You might want to just try and make sure you do this, because we always fall back. Remember my story? I went through training and then I went right back to my old ways, but I got worse, right? I want you to keep getting better, you know? So I'm one of those types of individuals that believes in learning from others' mistakes, and just keep doing what's consistent with this program, and it'll really benefit you huge in everything you do. So these are life lessons too, and you're gonna see as I delve into more of the psychology behind it. So let's go into optional scheduling. You just saw how I was able to direct you to whatever I wanted you to do. I had kind of visited with Dr. Ball about this and his wife. When I was in college, all the guys would end up just gravitating together. So there'd be like 5 to 10 of us, and we didn't want to just hang out with each other. And then I would notice there are 5 to 10 girls that are all gravitating together, and I'd say, guys, you know, I got this. They never had any idea of what I said. I would literally just walk up to a group of girls and say, you know what? this place is kind of boring. We're thinking about going to the Sandbar or the JW. Which one are you guys going to? And they would all start talking, which one would you guys rather go to? And it didn't matter to us because we just wanted to go with all of them, you know, get to know them and have a good time. And pretty soon that we're all walking out of this club together, like 20 of us going to a different club. And all of my friends would say, dude, you just have some like magical power over people. Like, how do you always get people to do what you want? And I never told them, I just gave them options because I knew they were bored just hanging out with their friends and we were bored and we just wanted to have a new experience. And so it was option based. If I walked up to a group of girls and I said, hey, do you guys want to go with us to another club? They'd say no, right? No way, this guy's out of his freaking mind, man. Who is this dude? Because we have to have power. We want to take power back. Every time someone asks us a yes or no question, do you want to do this? We want to say no to take the power. So I want you guys to guess, how many times do you think you have to subconsciously say no to advertisements on a daily basis? Do you guys have any idea what the average number is?
The average number for what now?
Just that you have to say no to. Like every time you hear an ad on the radio, come in and buy this, or someone saying, do you want this offer, or
Probably like 30. Like on like Facebook or something.
right,
like
Facebook,
on-
Snapchat,
Yeah.
anything. Yeah, it ranges over 12. That's a lot of no's in a day. We're conditioned to say no. By the time someone comes into the facility, if we said, so do you want to sign up today? We just derailed ourselves completely. So we don't ever ask someone that. And we're going to talk about how this really, really works. But here's something that's interesting. We're going to delve right back into this. So if someone drops in for information, most offices do very well. Look at the number. 90% of them make appointments. That's without any training. That means you know, you're good with people, you're comfortable with people, you're booking people. That's without any training. Now, here's something interesting. If you spend less than 5 minutes on a phone call, you have a 70% capture rate on the phone. If you spend greater than 5 minutes on a phone call, your number drops to 40% chance. That's terrible odds. We do not want to play those odds, right? So we're going to talk about that. So if someone were to call in, let me ask you this, how do you answer the phone here? I could barely hear what you said,
Sorry.
but it's, no, you're good.
Reflection, medical rejuvenation, and pure physique Pilates. How may I help you?
Okay, perfect. Now that is a mouthful, but you made it sound nice. It's really, because it's neat when you walk up and you see these two separate platforms and how well they gel together. It's pretty powerful. Okay, so that's an important thing to say. Thank you for calling, which you did that perfectly. Now let's just pretend like the patient, let's not even go into what they're asking for. Hey, I'm interested in learning more about XYZ. The first question you're going to fire back to that person is, just out of curiosity, how'd you hear about us? And I'm going to forward it to this. So, this is so-and-so. Make sure you identify yourself. Just out of curiosity, how'd you hear about us? Why do you think I'm going to fire a question back to them when they're the ones calling me?
So you know where you're getting a referral from.
That's huge. If we don't know where our marketing efforts are at, let me just pick on Jamie a little bit. So she's going to be out there creating relationships with athletic clubs, personal trainers, hairstylists, building cross-referral networks all over this area. What's interesting about that is we need to know what her value is by virtue is it creating commotion? Because commotion brings promotion. What's the name of the gym that you're at right?
Mountainside Fitness.
Okay, so Mountainside. If you say, just out of curiosity, how'd you hear about us? And they say Mountainside Fitness. Oh, okay, great. Then we can say, Jamie, you're doing great. Yes, we're focusing on fun sculpting because that's her job, but we want to know, how is our marketing efforts impacting this whole practice? We want to make sure that it's impacting the whole practice and benefiting it. So then we're like, keep doing that. That's really great. But without that on there, we don't really know what's working or what's not working. A lot of offices are like, well, we're making good money, so it doesn't matter. It matters, because you might be surprised that another gym like 24-Hour Fitness might be giving you 50 referrals a month, and Mountainside might be 3. Where are you going to put more time, right? So that's kind of important. So when we say, just out of curiosity, how'd you hear about us? We have a Excel spreadsheet that we keep right at the front desk. It's very archaic, but it's just a quick way to write it down. At the end of the week, she gives that to the regional manager, which is Mike, and he makes sure that we're driving marketing dollars the entire month. So, do you offer free consultations?
We used to. Now it's we do a $99 consultation
Perfect.
for 30 minutes.
That can be applied to their.
And that can be applied
Perfect.
to other services.
So change this verbiage. Say, we offer consultations with Dr. Bala. It's $99. It can be applied to your services. Are mornings, afternoons, or evenings best for you? Now, I want you to imagine if I were to listen to you guys on the phone, everybody's first instinct is, oh, well, what day looks best for you? And here's what they do. Oh, Tommy has soccer. Oh, wait, my daughter has this. You know what? I don't. And all of a sudden, the clock's ticking. And let me just share this with you. We've all done this. You're being nice. You're trying to be courteous. And they take control over that phone call for about 10 minutes. And every time we get past that 4 minutes, we just lose 30% of our close rate. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to tell them where the doctor is. You know, oh, the doctor's on vacation in California that day. That's all private. We've got to protect the provider. So when we say, are mornings, afternoons, or evenings best for you? Now, this is the magic of this card trick, even though we're not going to do it that exact same way. Someone's anxiety is already up when they're trying to call the office, right? So if they call the office and you walk through this program, and we're gonna go through all the services that you offer in a minute, and then we're gonna talk to you about fun sculpting and what it does, and show you a little video clip. The goal is to make this process as easy as possible for the customer. So, you know, let's say they're calling for fun sculpting, and I say, just out of curiosity, how'd you hear about us? Oh, I heard about you through Google. Oh, that's great. Fun sculpting is one of the latest advancements in body sculpting. It's an in-office procedure to see if you're a good candidate. You know, let's get you scheduled. Are mornings or afternoons or evenings best for you? When they pick that time, let's say they pick mornings, I look at the schedule, and let's say Dr. Ball's doing it on Wednesdays. Okay, the next available slot I have is next Wednesday at 8 o'clock or next Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Which makes best sense for you? I just took the schedule and I picked 2 spots. And so in their mind, they think he must be incredibly busy to only have those 2 slots available for me. And they pick it 99% of the time. I've actually, when the office staff's sitting there, like, let me take the phone call. So I answer the phone. And this guy, that's all he wanted to do was he wanted to know pricing. That was it. And I deflect on offering pricing because in order to analyze them and to see if they're a good candidate, I can't, someone that's 500 pounds or, you know, 150 pounds, it's different pricing, right? So we would say, in order to see if you're a good candidate, we offer consultation to really give you an appropriate quote, or morning shift. No, I just really need to know the price. Well, once again, we don't really quote over the phone, but there's a range. It can range from $2,500 like for a chin on up to $15,000. It depends on you. Every patient's really different. So
That's good, because we run across that a lot. Where, I mean, people want to know pricing. And
Right.
That's why, you know, I even tell Chelsea it's hard to know specifically because we customize
Everything.
so much.
Right.
Yeah. So everybody's going to be a little bit different. You know, they may want to know one thing, but is it only one treatment for this person? So
Exactly.
you don't really know what the cost is going to be just over the phone. So,
Right.
I mean, I'm glad you're going on this.
And the reason we'll continue to say, in order to give you a more appropriate price, we offer consultations on mornings or afternoons or evenings best for you, is we do not want that person getting in control of it. Or here's what they'll do. They'll gather all the information from you and call a competitor and schedule with them. So remember, that 4 minutes will go by quickly. Now, when we do our role plays, I want you to read these. I want you to go through it, but we're going to talk real quickly about the services that are offered. We're going to do real perfect. We call it celestial role modeling. You're going to read this off the screen. It's going to feel uncomfortable to you for a minute. And then I'm going to let one of you, who I think could be the most aggressive in the group, be the hardest on me. And I'm going to show you how I can diffuse anybody. Okay? So let's talk really quickly about the services. Let's start with your services, and then we'll conclude with fun sculpting, and I'll show just a quick little video so that everybody kind of knows what it's about. And let's just go through all the services that you offer.
Just want me to list them off?
Yeah.
Okay, so massage therapy, medical aesthetics, including facials, dermaplaning, microneedling with or without PRP, and chemical peels,
Okay.
hyperbaric oxygen, IV nutrition, chelation therapy, medical weight loss, medical detox programs, regenerative medicine injections, musculoskeletal.
Okay. Which one is the highest revenue generating for you?
Injection procedures.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all your procedures.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's pick one of those highest revenue generators, and then let's write a script. because we're gonna have to do that with each one, and each one of us is gonna write our own script for each one of those services that you offer.
Okay.
And it has to be in your own words, because every one of us has our own personalized way. What sounds great for me might sound funny if Mike says it, right? And it might work. I mean, a lot of times it will work, but it's better to have a customized idea. So let's pick your number one revenue generator.
Okay, so Alpha 2 macrophlobin.
Okay.
2750.
Okay. Can you say that, ladies?
No.
A2M for short.
Okay.
A2M.
Okay, so I want to hear how you would give an elevator pitch. You have 10 seconds on what that procedure does, the benefits, features that we could say. If someone says, "Hey, I'm looking for an A2M treatment. What can you tell me about it?" What would be your quick elevator pitch?
Basically, I have to explain that it's helping to avoid surgery of
Okay.
a joint. So it's going to reduce the continual enzyme breakdown of a joint space cartilage that causes degenerative joint disease, which is the leading cause of people going to have surgery, as well as pain. So reduces pain, improves function, and can eliminate the potential for joint replacement surgery.
What was that last one?
Eliminate the potential for joint replacement surgery.
Okay, yep.
Do we write a picture of this, or are we just writing notes on what you said?
I'm going to read you mine.
Okay.
And you guys can take it for what it may, and then I want him to say, "Correct, no, you missed it by a mile." So just hearing what he said is, I would say this one of the biggest benefits of this procedure is that it reduces pain and helps eliminate the potential for joint-related surgery. We offer consultations on mornings or afternoons or evenings best for you. So the script doesn't have to be 25 paragraphs long, but it has to be educational enough, because if someone says, "Hey, I want to learn more about the A2M procedure," or how much is it, what is it all about, you go to your script, and it helps you to really clearly articulate what the provider may want you to say, or kind of giving them a real basic information, but you don't want to go through every single detail of what the procedure is all about, all the prices. That actually causes problems. But if the patients are looking it up online, they really need to meet with the provider to see. They might not be a good candidate, and so we'll continually say that. To see if you're a good candidate for the procedure, we offer consultations on mornings or afternoons best for you. And so this is really critical. Anything else you would add to that?
I mean, there is actually a test that we can perform.
Right.
That gives, if it's positive, gives a higher success rate for that procedure. So basically just saying there is a test that the doctor can perform.
Okay.
To tell you whether or not you are a good candidate. I mean, you still can get some benefits from doing it, but the success rate is like 92% or greater if the FACT test comes back positive.
Awesome.
So it's FACT, it's the fibrin adiponectin complex test.
Did you get that, Mike?
Oh, yeah. You want me to spell it for you?
Check your spelling.
I can spell it, yeah.
FACT.
I'm writing this down. Okay, so I added, there's a test that Dr. Ball can perform to see how likely and successful you would be that you would benefit from the procedure. Now, if someone calls in, I want you to have one of these scripts for each one of those procedures, because it's gonna help you. And you're gonna tweak it, you're gonna change it, you're gonna do it your own style way, and that's really the critical thing. But if we don't have a real concise script, it's gonna sound really bad. Now, here's what has happened to my office staff. They're like, it's gonna sound like I'm reading a cart. I know it. I'm like, okay, well, let's ask the patients when they come in. Why did you schedule with us? I don't know, it just felt like you were very informative. I'm like, I told you. It feels like cogs in a wheel, but they don't know that you're reading a script. They have no clue, right? We're just trying to really zone in on it. Okay, so I'm gonna read through this whole script, and this is just from me, so I want you guys to do your own script on the A2M. But this is one of the biggest benefits of the procedure is that it reduces pain, helps eliminate the potential for joint-related surgery. There is also a test that Dr. Ball can perform to see how likely and successful your treatment would be that you could benefit from the procedure. We offer consultations or mornings, afternoons, or evenings best for you. What would you treat?
You're hired.
So I want you to work on those types of things because it's critical. Now, for you, with all the research that you've done on fun sculpting, what would your script be if someone says, "I'm interested in learning more about this sculpting, this body thing that you're doing, this body sculpting"? What is it?
Oh man.
And you can noodle on it if you want. I can play this video real quick.
I don't know. I kind of would wing it right now.
Go ahead and wing it. That's what I want you to
Body
do.
sculpting is the new and advanced. I don't know if I should use the word like liposuction in all of my wording. Like I've been thinking about that.
We
Meeting with
don't.
Mike yesterday.
Yeah, we really don't, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
It's everybody's seeing Dr. 90210 nip and tuck, and they're ramming and jamming. So the term lipo all throughout the U.S. is very negative.
Yeah.
So the actual national or worldwide trademark of this device is high def lipo, HD lipo.
Yeah.
And people could not get over the fact that it was done in office. The patient was alert, awake. So we petitioned the FDA for 3 years to get it changed to fun sculpting, to get that negative stigma of lipo out of their mind. So, because everybody thinks lipo is you have to be generally sedated.
What was the reason for the terminology of fun sculpting? I mean, I can understand throwing the word fun in there because it creates
Right.
a positive
Right.
perception.
It's really because of the natural breast augmentation and Brazilian butt lift and the six-pack abs.
Okay.
That was the whole terminology behind it because it's result-based.
Gotcha.
But it's not necessarily fun during the whole treatment because,
Yeah.
it can be pinchy.
So if you're like talking about it and you don't say lipo, but they're like, well, is this liposuction? Do you?
You could say it's the latest advancement in body sculpting. It is a form of liposuction, but it's nothing like anything else out there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you this video. So he's basically going through the procedure. Dr.
There that I have found. This is called the HD liposuction cannula. It's a device that gives you three-dimensional rotation so that it gives you what's called a whipping technique. See how it whips and moves in 3 dimensions. What does this do in terms of removing adipose tissue, tightening skin? Because of its 3-dimensional whipping vibration, the patient has a lot less pain when you're using it. You remove a lot more volume of adipose tissue without so much bleeding. You get tremendous skin tightening from the vibration. Really, this device, when I started using it, there was no way I was going back to traditional liposuction where I was getting a rotator cuff injury, where tennis elbow, carpal tunnel syndrome. This is seriously, the way I compare it is cutting a tree with an axe versus cutting a tree with a chainsaw. The amount of precision, the amount of fat removal, gone are the days of cannula grooves and redos. Really, there are no cannula grooves, there are no redos with this. You get exactly what you want in a timely, quick fashion. Let's take a look at how it works. Look how I'm holding. Here we have an air-powered handle giving me 3-dimensional whipping vibration. And all I'm doing is barely holding it. Like, look at my hand, look at the palm. And I'm getting exactly what I want done. I'm not having to work this tough corner right here around the ribs. It's just pushing right through it. If you're a doctor wanting to do liposuction, you need to come put this in your hand. Come see me, contact me, I'll put this in your hand, and you can see the revolution in body sculpting. Thank you very much. All right, this is Dr. John Hamill, Complete Laser Clinic. We've been working on our patient for about an hour. She's standing up now, wide awake. She's been wide awake through the whole procedure thanks to domestic anesthesia. And now with this HD liposuction cannula system, we're gonna finish sculpting her body. Again, as you watch me sculpt, just think about how easy this is and how less, watch my arm work, how less work is going on in my arm, how the cannula itself is doing all the work in the three-dimensional whipping rotation. How you feeling, Julie?
Great. And that is no kidding.
Okay, so this is that patient. 7 days post-operatively, you can see a little tiny bruise, but it's pretty incredible. Okay, so just from the video you've seen, and what he was trying to tell you, what features and benefits would you say fun sculpting has? Any of you can answer this, you don't need to just pick on Jamie, but.
Takes more out of this tissue out than any of the procedures, liposuction-wise.
Okay, so you might want to change the word adipose because most patients won't know what that is.
Tissue,
Yeah.
fat cells.
So you could say this takes away more fat cells than any device in the market today, right?
Mhm.
With less pain.
Exactly.
Easier use to the physician. Like patients aren't necessarily gonna care that much, but he will.
But it is easier on the patients as well too. So you
Yeah.
can say
Exactly.
easier, reduced amount of pain and recovery time.
The biggest thing I liked was the skin tightening, because that's one of the things is if you're
Excellent.
taking so much out,
Right.
am I gonna be,
Right.
Call from there.
Still ringing up front?
I just silenced
Oh.
the ringer back here. I'm just worried about her not coming to her appointment at 11:30. Because we've switched it around 4 times in the last, like, 10 hours.
Is it low on class right now?
No.
Sorry. Oh.
No, she's not. There was a word that he kept saying when he was talking about the tool. It was three-dimensional something.
Whipping, yeah.
So that's just the technique of the tool movement?
That's the science behind what's happening. So the cannula is about 3 millimeters. At the tip of the cannula, it's between 10 to 15 millimeters that it's whipping. So it's
Oh.
really amazing at how we get such a big path of adipose tissue that comes out because it's actually whipping while it's going in and out. It's pretty cool.
It should be easier to move over, like the ribs, as he was saying. so
Exactly.
It's not pushing.
That's right.
Okay.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
So, so fun sculpting is the #1 procedure all throughout the world. This takes away more fat cells than any other device on the market. That was Jamie's word. This is an incredible skin tightening procedure. There's minimal downtime when the patient's awake and alert during the entire procedure. And I would immediately go into to see if you're a good candidate. We offer consultations or mornings or afternoons best for you. So let me just share with you an example. So one of my buddies, a plastic surgeon, I walked into his office and he said, "I've treated every patient in Phoenix." I'm like, Ken, there's no way. What would make you think that? He's like, "My schedule's dead. I have no patients. Like, I have maybe 1 or 2 surgeries this whole month." I'm like, "I happen to know a few things about answering phones. Let me just sit up front with Heidi for a few minutes." So I'm sitting up there now. I want you to listen to this. Now, I don't know what the other person said on the other end, but this is what Heidi said. "Thank you for calling Dr. Ken's office. This is Heidi. How may I help you?" "I'm interested in a breast augmentation." "Oh yeah, Dr. Jones is amazing. He's done these procedures for 15 years. You know, what's your schedule look like to schedule a consultation? Oh, well, you know, I'm pretty available. Well, Dr. Jones is wide open as well. Okay, so what was she doing?
Leaving
It
it
sounds
open.
like he's
for
not
them.
busy, that he's not very good.
Exactly. If your schedule's wide open, it means you're not good. So I walked back into his office. This happened 3 times in like 15 minutes. And I said, "You're going on vacation, buddy." And he's like, "What do you mean? I can't afford a vacation." I'm like, "You can't afford not to take a vacation. You've got to get out of this office for 2 weeks. You have no patience. She's derailing you. I'm going to go work with her for 4 hours, and we're going to try and get your practice back on track." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, if your schedule doesn't even look like you have a week where you're totally backed up, it's all psychological." Now, you don't have to admit this, but how many of you have ever bought anything on QVC or anything online? Okay, it's a psychological thing, right? All of that whole thing is a platform that's designed to say, okay, here's this. They used to be able to roll back. We have 500, 400, 300. Now we're down to 20. And then they found it was creating too much of people's hearts would start racing and everything. And so now they just say, you only have 15 minutes left, 10 minutes left, 1 minute left. Yeah, meanwhile, they have a whole crate of those left, right? But it's an energy type thing. They're creating a sense of urgency. They've gotten it dialed in. They do a great job explaining the features and benefits of it. That's what we're doing here, the features and benefits of it, and our time frame is short. So on any procedure we offer, when we answer the phone, we give a quick little clip, a quick little snapshot of what it is, and then we immediately go into consultations. So there really is a method to this madness, and we instantly go into our mornings or afternoons best for you. Now, what are your hours, just so I know when we're doing our role play?
So our office for my services Tuesday and Friday.
Right.
Tuesdays 9 to 5. Fridays
Right.
9 to 4.
Okay, so I would say our mornings or afternoons best for you, because it's still considered afternoon. You know, if someone stays till 7, then you can say afternoons or evenings. But when we say our mornings or afternoons best for you, you want to pick it a little ways out. Now, are you doing Botox and Restylane? Are you doing those?
No.
Oh, okay, good. Because those have a little different rule. Those patients are fanatical. If they can't get in that day, they're gonna panic and go somewhere else. Now, they're not my favorite procedures because of that. So even some of the other procedures you offer, you could schedule them a week out, 2 weeks out. Here's the benefit. If I look at a doctor's schedule and I go in and he has a patient booked here, a patient booked down here, and a patient booked over here, I know if I had all those patients on one day, he could spend more time with his family and do other things for the business. So the art of this is you want to really schedule your days more blocked together. And when you say mornings or afternoons best for you, and they say, well, mornings, you instantly give them 2 morning slots that are available for that one day, and then when it's 80% booked, you open up the next day. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're actually controlling the provider's schedule, making it better for him, more advantageous versus a patient here and then a patient 2 hours later and a patient, nothing's worse than when a doctor has to come in for one patient for the day when there are a lot of other things they could do. And that patient could be booked on the other day. But we're trying to be convenient by going, well, what day looks best for you? Oh, well, yeah, I guess we could fit you in that day. And all of a sudden you've just changed, you want them to contort to your schedule, not vice versa. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're gonna do some role plays. We're gonna be using our plan up here. Actually, it's the wrong presentation.
How come the handle he was using was so much different?
That was the first generation.
Gotcha.
I knew you'd pick up on that. Let's see. All right, here we go. Plus, it was so loud. Did you hear how the?
Yeah, it definitely sounded a lot louder.
So with the first generation system, you had to have a compressor in the back room, and it was so loud. It was like a car, like a car compressor for automotive stuff, and it was just anyhow. So yeah, the third generation's so much better. Okay, so who wants to go first? Who's feeling it?
I can go first.
All right, I like
On the
that.
phone.
You're gonna get a lot of grace. You're gonna get a lot of grace. Okay, so let's decide what procedure you feel the most comfortable with. If you want to use the A2M because we just wrote down that script, we can. You can even read it off my paper if you can read my chicken scratch.
Read Dr.
Sometimes I can't even read my own writing, so I know it's bad. Okay, so remember now, the goal in role playing is not to be hard on you.
Okay.
The goal is really to just follow the script.
Right.
As painstaking, obvious as it can. Okay, so ring ring.
Can I just say his business for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for calling Reflection Medical Rejuvenation. This is Chelsea. How can I help you?
Hey Chelsea, I'm interested in learning about this A2M for some joint repair.
Yeah, of course. How did you hear about us?
You know what? I was just Googling you online and saw you guys online.
Oh, fantastic. So about the A2M, one of the biggest benefits of the procedure is that it does reduce the pain. It can eliminate the potential for joint-related surgery. And there's actually a test that Dr. Ball can perform to see how likely and successful you would benefit from the procedure. I can book your appointment today for the consultation. Does morning or afternoon work for you?
Mornings probably work best for me. Once I get my son off to school around 9, I'm pretty open.
Yeah, absolutely. Can we do about 9:30?
So remember, give me 2 options.
Okay, so 9:30 or 10
On what day?
on Tuesday.
10 o'clock sounds great.
Perfect.
Okay, so freeze frame that. So she did good. I mean, that's hard to do in front of everybody, right? Because everybody knows what you're supposed to say, but it's
Right.
really uncomfortable. It's 10 times easier when you're on the phone by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, on that card trick, the secret to that, remember, fast forward it to the club, would you guys rather go to this bar or this bar? Because we're going whichever one you guys are going to. You've got to give someone 2 options, or it's discombobulated, right? You did perfect with, we have consultations or mornings, afternoons, best for you. That was perfect. And then, okay, we have a morning appointment at 8:30 on Tuesday or 9:30 on Tuesday, which makes best sense for you. We always do better. How many of you have kids? I know you do. All of us. Okay, cool. So you never ask a child a yes or no question if you want to maintain control. Do you want to go hiking? What are they going to say? No. Do you want to go to the park? No. I'm good. I'm doing this. If you want them to wear a jacket, you said you want to wear the blue jacket or the red jacket. Would you rather go to the park or would you rather go on a hike? Okay, I guess I'll go to the park. You have to stay in control or they will run over you. There is no difference in life with the patients. They'll kind of run over. You're going to see this and go, James, I get it now, because when we do consultations, it may be, I don't know if you do knees and you do hips for the A2M or exactly, but some patient typically, when they have knee pain, they walk it with a different gait and they put more pressure on their hips. So you might say, well, we can, during the consultation, you may say, well, we can start off doing the knees and see how well that works, or we can do the knees and the hips, which makes best sense for you. Remember, I never said, do you want to do this? Right? And we're going to delve more into that on the consultation. I'll explain to you why certain individuals get almost 100% close ratio.
It's okay. It's supposed to happen.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
And some individuals get 30% close ratios, and we're going to talk about what that is and why that is, because it's kind of important to understand what makes these, systems work the way it works. Okay, who wants to go next? How about you, Jamie? We're going to do you on fun sculpting, okay? So, Mike, you're going to be the one calling in. Okay. Ring, ring.
Thank you for choosing Bodyology. This is Jamie. How may I help you?
Hi, Jamie. I'm calling about your fun sculpting ad.
Great. How did you hear about it?
I heard it on the radio.
Awesome. So fun sculpting is the latest HD body contouring procedure with less pain and more fat cells being taken out. I have some appointments available tonight or tomorrow morning. Which would you prefer?
Probably tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning? Great. How about 11 o'clock or?
Okay, I'm going to cut you off and you're going to start completely over.
Okay.
Because you're going to offer mornings or afternoons.
Okay.
Because here's what happens. If you don't steer it exactly like, remember when I first started playing cards with him, I said, I have 4 cards in my hand. I want you to pick 2 of those cards. Pick any 2 of those and tell them to us. You actually have to direct every step of that process. So we're just going to rewind it back to that point where she's going to say, we offer consultations, our mornings or afternoons best for you, period.
Okay.
Because if it's not articulated that way, it'll get way out of whack, okay? So let's restart on that.
Consultations are available in the mornings or afternoons, which are better for you.
Yeah, I want you to actually stop freeze frame right there. I want you to read this. Don't ad lib on this one, okay? Just totally read. And you can cut out the evenings. So
You want
just
me to
read
start
that.
at the beginning?
Yep.
To see if you're a good candidate, let's get you in for a consultation, or a free consultation. Are mornings or afternoons best for you?
You know, I think afternoons are actually better for me now.
Okay, great. I have an appointment available at 3 or 4 p.m., which is better for you.
Well, my kids have baseball.
Don't make it hard. Remember where you. And it's normal to want to make it hard for someone, but I'm going to let you be hard on me in a minute. Okay? So just pick.
So 3 o'clock, did you say?
Yes.
Okay, so remember, if we were doing Botox and fillers, you would have to get them in immediately after that first meeting. Okay, so let's have you go. Dr. Ball, I'm going to have you be the patient, and we're going to do the A2M. Ring, ring.
Good morning, Mrs. Michelle with Reflection Medical Rejuvenation. How can I help you?
Good morning, Michelle. I'm calling because I wanted to get some more information about your A2M procedure that you guys have.
Awesome. First off, I just want to know, how did you hear about us?
I saw your advertisement online.
Oh, great. Yeah, so we have the A2M injection. It's one of the biggest benefits of the procedure is that it reduces pain, eliminates the potential for joint-related surgery, and there's actually a test that he can perform for you to see how likely and successful you would benefit from the procedure. I can get you booked in for a consultation for $99. Are you available mornings or afternoons?
Afternoons tend to work better for me.
Great. Tuesday I have a 4 o'clock and a 3 o'clock. Which would you prefer?
Let's do 4 o'clock.
Awesome.
Okay, so you can pick, if someone says afternoons, you can pick Tuesday afternoon at 3 or Thursday afternoon at 4, which makes best sense. It doesn't have to be on the same day. It just has to be 2 separate options. Okay, so Dr. Ball, you want to try one?
Okay, sure.
Okay, so I'm going to be the patient, and I'm just going to throw it back let's see what he does with the ad lib tagline. Okay, ring, ring.
Good afternoon, or good morning. This is Reflection Medical Rejuvenation. This is Dr. Ball. How can I help you?
You know, Dr. Ball, I was online and I was really looking at a bunch of different services that you were offering. I really want to know more about this PRP thing that you're doing. Can you tell me more about that?
Sure. PRP is
Freeze frame.
Oh, sorry. Yes. So, just out of curiosity, how exactly did you hear about us?
When I was Googling, I just keep hearing about all this Kardashian, vampire facial stuff, PRP, and your website popped up, and it looks like you do a lot of the PRP, so it looks like you're kind of the expert in this area.
Okay, and are you wanting to do it for aesthetics purposes or musculoskeletal?
More for aesthetics.
More for aesthetics. Okay, well, we have a awesome esthetician, and we can get you in to do a free skin analysis with her at any point. Do mornings or afternoons work better for you?
Mornings probably work best. Sometime after 10 would be great.
Okay, looks like we have Tuesday at 11 a.m. open, or we can also do this coming Friday at 11:30.
And then say this.
Which makes best sense for you?
Probably the Friday appointment looks best for me. Okay, so freeze frame, you did great. It's very uncomfortable, right, in this setting. But because Mike wanted to be the most difficult, I'm going to let him be the most difficult on me. Now I get to answer the phone, and really the purpose of this is to really teach you how to neutralize somebody. Now, every single one of us in our lives needs to learn how to neutralize somebody, okay? If you want to neutralize someone, it doesn't do any good to raise your voice, right? Do not return anger for anger. So, we'll start the role play. Ring, ring, thank you for calling Bodyology. This is James, how may I help you?
Hi, I'm calling about this fun sculpting thing that you're doing in your office.
Yeah, absolutely. Just out of curiosity, how'd you hear about us?
I've heard it on a couple of different advertisements. I'm trying to remember which one it was. I think it was the paper.
Perfect. Fun sculpting is one of the latest advancement in body sculpting procedures. It's incredible because you can do it in an in-office setting with minimal pain, minimal discomfort, and you can actually Snapchat and text while you're having the procedure done to see if you're a good candidate for the procedure. We offer free consultations or mornings or afternoons best for you.
You know, afternoons probably would work best for me.
Okay, the next afternoon appointment I have is 2 o'clock on Tuesday or Thursday at 3 o'clock. Which one would be best for you?
Though actually my kids are playing baseball that day, so that's definitely not going to work for me.
Okay,
I could.
Go ahead.
Oh, do you have a Wednesday morning available?
You know what? We don't at this time, but the following week we have a morning appointment available on the following Wednesday at 8 o'clock or the following Friday at 10 o'clock, which would make best sense for you.
Wow, you guys were that booked, huh?
We are. Dr. Ball's really amazing at what he does.
Okay, I'll take the first available Wednesday.
Okay, so next Wednesday at 8 o'clock we have our appointment booked for you, and then we go on from there. Now, let's pretend continue to be hard.
Okay.
So we're going to rewind a little bit and just keep changing it on me.
Okay. You know, before we booked this appointment, this whole thing about fun sculpting, is this like cool sculpting, or I mean,
You know what?
what's the difference?
That's a really great question. Cool sculpting is more of a device that disrupts the fat cells. It's really minimally invasive or non-invasive, but the results are really not dynamic. So to better explain that to you when you come in, that's why we offer those free consultations to help explain other competitor procedures and why this is such a superior modality. Once again, are mornings or afternoons best for you?
Yeah, you know, there's so many people that are offering these type of procedures. When's the earliest time that you have available?
You know, Tuesday and Thursday. So Tuesday we have an appointment at 2:30 or Thursday at 3:30.
Before I do that, how much does it cost for this procedure?
You know, we don't really publish our prices over the phone or online because everybody's bodies is so different. That's why we offer those free consultations. Which one of those appointments would make best sense? Tuesday at 2:30 or Thursday at 3:30?
I mean, can you give me any idea about cost?
You know, it really ranges because each area is different. So it can be as cost effective as $2,500 for a chin, or on up to $15,000 based off of someone's size. So in order to see which price range you would be to quote you more appropriately, we offer those free consultations to see what the best price would be for you and to see if you're a good candidate. Would that Tuesday at 2:30 or Thursday at 3:30 work best?
I think I'd like to do that early appointment, but can I bring my wife in?
Absolutely, you're more than welcome to bring
And
your wife.
is that free as well? If both
It
of
is.
us, can we both do the consult at the same
You
time?
absolutely can. So
Okay.
should I set you down for the Tuesday at 2:30
Yes.
or Thursday at 4:30?
Yeah, I think that'll work.
Okay, so if he were to keep going, I would refer him to a competitor. and the reason why is not all money is good money. Does that make sense? And so he was really kind of in the beginning and buckled, but if you just stay calm, you control the environment. Remember, in your life, no good comes out of emotional rage, number one. Number two, anytime that you return anger for anger, it just ratchets it up. And the person who is the most calm always is in control. So this is a life lesson. Now, I'm not saying I haven't lost my stuff either, because I have. Like, well, they're big, But the reality is, every time I've done them, like, that was such a poor decision on my part. Why did I do that? I feel bad inside. Like, that's not who I am. And that really ticked me off that I didn't need to blow my top. And so in these offices, you're going to have that same thing happen where someone's going to change it and tweak it and twist it. And did you see how I just kept bringing them back to the options, bringing them back to the options? I kind of have a rule of thumb. If I try to bring them back 5 times to the option and they're all over the map, sometimes I'll say, well, why don't you go ahead and just think about it and give us a call back when you know what would be more convenient for you, but we're excited to see you. And they do call back because it's considered a takeaway where you're like, this is how we do business, this is how we book, this is how we maximize Dr. Ball's schedule. And we talked about never ever divulging his schedule, right? And I hear offices doing that all the time. Oh, he's with his wife, for the afternoon. You can't tell him that because, you just never know what their purpose is. But you guys did really good.
James, can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
So we have those patients that are just completely needy and the princess of just,
Right.
it's never good enough, right?
Right.
And so how do you weed those out, like, prior to that consult or even
Right.
during that consult, and for a patient care coordinator or anybody else, how do you make that, yes, we're trying to drive revenue, but that one patient could just be not worth it.
Okay, so women are typically much better. So men are more logically, right? Women are more into the feeling side. I always tell people, if you have a bad feeling about it, listen to your gut. For us, we're like, oh, I'm sure they'll be okay. We keep overriding that warning. But in reality, if someone's as soon as they start bad-mouthing another physician, that's my warning signal that they're not going to be any better for us. And in aesthetics, if someone's, we don't want to say dysmorphia because that's kind of probably too aggressive, but if someone has an improper body image and they already look great and they're like, this little area is just driving me crazy, they're probably not going to be the best treatment for them. When patients have realistic expectations, we can hit a home run every time. But if someone's a runner, they just can't lose a certain area and they're miserable in their lives, and some other doctor did a procedure and he was terrible and awful, we're going to be the next in line. So I always say, if someone's just really caustic, you know what I mean, like there's just this negative energy, I usually just say, I don't think we can get the type of results that you're looking for, but I know there's a lot of good doctors in the valley that can, and it's okay to do that. But you'll know when that comes up and you're like, this just doesn't feel right, it just doesn't. Now luckily it's very seldom, like you might get a patient every few months that's really wacko. But when they tell you they're on multiple drugs, they're really stressed out and everybody else stresses them out, and like you said, they've called 15 times, I usually will refer those to other people. Because even if it's a $5,000 treatment, it's not worth it, And so just so you guys know what our pricing is, it's $2,500 for the first area and $1,500 for each additional area, but we don't publish that. We don't even put that on the website. So the Bodyology brand, there'll be 7 clinics in the greater Phoenix area. It's kind of like Intel. Like if you look on this Toshiba laptop, it's Intel inside. This is still it's just like having Bodyology within this business brand. So it's important that we're representing it the right way, that we're setting expectations. But if a patient wants a retreat, we have to, pay the provider for their time. So there's no free retreatments, right? So, so unless we can tell that we really didn't do as good of a job, maybe we were busy or, or there's just some areas are resistant, then we'll do those areas for free. But most of it, you'll find it'll move together as well. On all these treatments that we're doing, it would be good for you guys to be in on them, and you've been in procedures before as well. But the more you get exposed to every procedure Dr. Ball does, the more you become the expert. Or even the estheticians, if you're like, hey, do you mind if I watch? You do the vampire facial or whatever. I think it's good to really gain your knowledge. So it was easy for me to find the office here. Have you ever had any trouble with people finding it?
We first started because this road right here is actually Stadium Way.
Okay.
But it doesn't have like a physical address. So our address is Bell Road.
Right.
Which is the major street.
Right.
But we're offset from Bell Road.
I did it.
Yeah.
I
So
did
you
it
get
years
people
ago,
that
I was like,
they'll drive around this complex, or you go
Mike's like,
on
"Where you going?"
Park
I don't know.
Views, this other street right here.
We're going.
There's a post box and then there's another medical plaza.
Okay.
On the other side, people have been over there.
I did the
So
exact same thing.
Definitely we've had problems.
Okay, so my GPS brought me right here, so I was lucky, and the building number was perfect. So
Yeah, they made some modifications. They just put those big numbers up in the center.
that's awesome.
Probably about 2 or 3 months ago. We've asked for signage on the front street. We've been battling with the
Right.
tenants, and they're just giving us a hard time
Can
about
you
it.
do something like that even on the corner out there?
We can now. The city of Surprise has some restrictions. They just
Okay.
made leniency because we did that last year,
Okay.
and we'd actually put it in the middle of the street, and they came by and said, we had to remove the sandwich sign. And, yeah, I mean,
James,
it's been a battle.
The flake that,
Yeah.
what's her name has?
Yeah, could totally.
Can
that.
you do those?
They kind of come up like this,
The
and then
flags.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We probably could. I just don't. We're not allowed to do them on the major street.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, the city of surprise, you either have to have like a monument signage,
Right.
or electronic signage, like you'll see when you drive down,
Right.
where it's got the electronic screen board. The flag signage you can only do for like special events and stuff like that, so you can only do for that temporarily.
Well, the only thing I bring that up is because we were, in our Montana location, we were on this back street and there was no really signage of bodyology, okay? Because it was in another building, right? And so I would say, you know, we were one block off, right behind the Wendy's. You can't miss it. You look for this sign, you know, and so when you're explaining to people that book an appointment, you know, when you come off a ball, it's come straight down and you'll see our sign out front, a white little sign that's on the sidewalk or something, you know, giving an example. Because when I first pulled in, first time I came in, I probably went around the parking lot in the back a couple times, and I'm like, there's the office over here was closed, and that had the same 105 number, and I was like confused, you know, but it's probably changed since then because we have the number up here, because like.
Right, they
Yeah.
put the number up, and then I know Noelle, she's put her Pilates banner up above our door
yeah.
by about, I don't know, 2-3-ish months ago, and we had at least a handful of people like,
Yeah.
I'm glad that sign was up there. I didn't know you guys were here. You
That's
know?
awesome.
So I can put something up above it. Obviously, you know, you do electrical signage, that's expensive.
It
Yeah,
was super
yeah,
expensive.
totally.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
But I guess the bigger problem too is you have these two big trees that kind of even hide that wall space from
Good
Bell
point.
Road.
Good point.
You know, but at least it does. You know, you get it up high enough, it does tend to get some exposure.
I don't know if it's like okay to tell, but I've been telling people to either Google the Stadium Village Apartments and it'll bring you to the Stadium Way Road because it's really the only access to it,
Right.
and that'll give them a better direction of this road. Or if they know, I ask like, are you from Surprise? Do you
Right.
know the stadium? We're on that road, and
Yeah.
they know usually that because this area is kind of newer,
Right.
so they know that there's nothing around us until I say like the Village Apartments because they've been here for a while, or
Sure.
things close to it. Because the Stadium Way Road's not even.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a huge challenge. And,
Yeah.
You know, most
Right.
people, I just tell them, you know, if you have trouble when you're
Right.
coming here, just call and we'll help guide you towards the location.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, as long as you guys know that, you're key and you've got that dialed in. The call logs, so we'll probably have two separate call logs. One for Jamie and then just your,
We
I
have to
made
keep one for
Jamie's.
us too.
And then both of their businesses have a separate one too.
okay, cool. Because what I'd like to do is make sure we somehow get a copy of your call logs just to see what's happening, and then we'll have your copy as well. But it's good to have it at the front desk, so if anyone's answering the phones, they can just write it down real quick. But here's what's tracked on all of those. So we want to track the time the call came in, who they were referred by, area of interest, name and phone number. And then here's the kicker, all phone calls must be returned within 5 minutes. These aesthetic patients, and I'll call them cash paying patients because it could be anything in rejuvenation, but they don't wait. They'll just call the next one on the list. So it's pretty critical. So I'm sure you guys already have your own strategies. This is what works well for us. We want to confirm appointments 1 day prior to it. Obviously, never give any person any information. In Dr. Cronus, it actually has a little tiny block in there that says, is it best to call on their cell phone, call them personally? But we'll never say, hey, you know, we're just confirming your procedure for tomorrow. We'll just say, we're just calling to confirm, you know, your appointment. Please give us a call if you need to change that, and that's it. Once again, check patient's information whether or not to confirm. There was a guy yesterday that just launched a lawsuit against CVS because they told his wife that he was on Viagra because she called to get her prescription, and he sued him because he was mad that, anyhow, she found out he needed that. Follow-up calls. You know, call every patient 1 day following the treatment. Now, this doesn't have to be Dr. Paul. In fact, I usually recommend it not. It literally could be Jamie calling, just say, hey, I'm calling to check on you. How are you doing? You know, if they say, well, I'm just a little tender, that's perfectly normal. If there's anything abnormal, then you go to Dr. Paul and say, you know, they're complaining about this and this. What do you think? But for the most point, they just need to know that someone cares. It goes a long ways after any of these procedures, and make sure all their questions are answered. So that basically just really just covers our phone skill sets. We'll take like a 5-minute break. So, and then we're going to jump right into the last segment, which is consultation.